E3 had some pretty good games, and we're going to check out two simulator games, Bee Simulator and Planet Zoo. But let's start off with Bee Simulator, Be Your Best. So this was a pretty interesting little game. IGN has a little article you'll definitely want to check out, but there's a bit of gameplay footage. There's about 19 minutes, so let's check out some of this really quick. Pretty interesting stuff. So they go off with a little bit of info about bees and the environment and everything, which is good. Pollination of bees. So you get to learn a little bit about it, but there's also some cool gameplay features. So it's a little bit more of an adventure style environmental game, and you fly around as a bee. So that is pretty cool. The world's plants are pretty big. You name your character and then you'll start flying around. There's some different mechanics that you get into as well. So there's left, back, right, forward. So pretty cool things. And pretty much a lot of the game you might be expecting that you'll be collecting pollen, which that's probably most of the game, but there's some different story elements and learning things that get pretty interesting. So one of the cool things is golden markers that you want to search for, which is obviously the pollen, and then you'll want to take the pollen to certain places, which would probably be your hive. So we get to see the little clip of that. There's little infographic things, not graphics, but like little cards and stuff you'll check out, knowledge points you'll gain, so different things like that as you learn about bees. And that's not all. There's a little bit of action, even though it's a bee environmental game, and there's the bad guy, the wasp. So you'll fight wasps throughout the game, and a little bit of a intricate battle system kind of. So you'll get different ways to dodge. You choose an angle and dodge, middle soft, left, middle hard, high, low. There's attacks, special dodge. So there's a little bit of combat in mechanics to it as well, so pretty interesting. You get a little special meter bar for your special attack. There's blocking, attacking from different angles. So looks like we're winning pretty easily so far, but either way, there's pretty cool Pokemon style battle things going on with a bee simulator style game. So I think we win, the bee loses, and you go on to collecting some more honey and pollen, and that's good for the world of bees. So that's not all. There's other mechanics like actual missions and stuff. The queen bee is in the game that you'll be getting missions from. You'll go inside the hive, different things like that. So it's not just collecting pollen, which is kind of a lot of the game probably, but different little things. You'll help other bees out as well. You can check out some of the other gameplay footage in this. There's also like a bee vision and some bee nitro boosts that you get as well. So that is pretty interesting. Here's your bee vision, different pollen types that you'll actually want to collect, a little bit more rare legendary pollens. So something else to go out there, and you fly around in a park, some of the level, and you can maybe pop some balloons. It gets pretty interesting, but a lot of stuff that you can do. Speaking of, there is the Steam page, which you can check out. There's no date yet, but end of 2019 roughly, but it shows you the different game modes. There's the single player game mode, there's co-op, there's even some PvP split screen going on, so some other options for you there. A little bit of a bee friendly, environmentally flying around game, which you could definitely spend some hours in and learn about some bees. So pretty cool little bee simulator game there. Lulu apparently likes bees and roses and bouquets and a face that I can't tell, but pretty interesting little game that you can learn about bees. And another simulator style game about animals as well, we got some E3 footage from, is Planet Zoo. So this is a little bit more of a zoo style, city builder style zoo management game. So here is the little park. There's a 17-minute video. It's about 10 to 15 minutes of actual gameplay footage, and they talk about some of the mechanics for building and everything and keeping your park alive and everything. So that's good for the animals and good for people who want to educate themselves about animals. So this, you could also technically just educate yourself about animals too, and not even go to the zoo. You could just be at home and do it. So here are the animals, pretty lifelike. They did some good graphics and animations, a lot of licking going on, a lot of ear flicking. That was something that they like to talk about. This is a little bit more of an interview kind of video. There's talking going on in the background, so they explain everything as well. It gets pretty intricate. Something else they talk about specifically at the beginning of the video is different the life cycle and everything. So the animals will actually have babies, and genes will be inherited from their parents. Potentially, I think they said like certain patterns, but you could see from an actual baby had like similar patterns to the parent. I didn't know what else they mentioned about other similarities, but there could be like maybe food preferences or something. I'm not sure how in depth they'll go, but something a little bit intricate. If you take a closer look at, you could definitely be able to find. Something else pretty interesting is they're doing mixed habitats. So this will actually be beneficial for certain animals, which is pretty interesting. There's little items that you can place in to make the animals' lives even more happy with their welfare. So different things, and here's little cards that get pretty intricate, and you can manage your animals because there's a lot of different needs each animal will be needing, and they'll have different names and everything, and there's tons of different tabs, and you can get pretty in-depth with your simulation game for Planet Zoo. What else is there? We mentioned some of the items. There's a couple more items. Cute little doggos playing around with boxes and stuff, and you can get, it looks like tons of different animals, different items to place to make your animals happier. And some other little quick things we can mention. Workers, they talked a little bit about at 8:30. So the workers, you can get tons of different workers and everything, and they'll have their own paths that they'll walk on, and they'll go inside the buildings and actually start working on food for the animals, and you can go inside and watch them work as well. So that's pretty intricate. They're doing quite a little bit of in-depth mechanics going on here. And also, as well as zoo games and learning, there's little info cards that you'll actually want to place for your people checking out the zoo. So you can research animals and get even more intricate little info things, and the people will actually fill up their knowledge level as well. So you'll definitely want to do that. And a couple other things, there's different rides and stuff that go inside different exhibits and stuff, so that gets pretty intricate. There's smaller exhibits as well. Here's a little ride, and then there's some of the smaller exhibits that you can go inside and check out the little iguanas as well, and you'll have to play I Spy because some of them are a little bit hidden, so that's pretty cool. But a cool little 15-minute demo. They talk about it. There's different things you'll want to keep track of, like temperature and humidity, so it gets pretty in-depth. If you like zoo management style games, there's Planet Zoo for you. And then here is the pre-purchase. You can pre-purchase it on Steam. November 5th is when the game comes out. We actually have a date for this one, so that's pretty good and pretty cool for animal games, pretty cool for simulator games, and a little bit of E3 rollover coverage from last week. So pretty good overall. So with that, on your sim games for today, we will have another episode tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific with some more tech and game news. And aside from that, we will be signing out. Pew 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 pew.